A true pleasure to be joined once again for another segment by pro bettor Scott Pritchard, leading the Circa Friday Football Invitational heading into this week. We'll talk about a couple specific games still to come here in the Big 12, get into some general betting philosophy as well. Scott, want to start with your last play on the card for the Invitational, yet to get underway. Kansas at Cincinnati tonight. Jayhawks laying 7, 58 total. What did you like to do here?
Well, the line opened, the total opened 58.5. It's 58.5 as we speak, so it's a stale number, it's a square number, and every day of the week and twice on Sunday I will not bet square numbers. I like betting into a soft betting market, but I do have an opinion on the total. I do like the under, and it has to do with the fact that Kansas a week ago against Kansas State with a third-string quarterback outgained 19th ranked Kansas State. They lost 31-27, and when I look at this matchup against Cincy they've now lost 8 of their last 9 games. I expect Kansas to control this game. Bean, the backup, who's actually played extremely well, looks like he's going to play in this contest. So in this matchup, I expect Kansas to control the clock, control the game, student body right, student body left. They have a great running game. It stays under the 58.5. It's not a 5-star pick or anything like that, but I do have an opinion on the under.
Scott, we had you on several times this season so far on this show here, Live Bet Saturday from the D in Bar, Canada. And I remember in your first appearance, we asked you about how you approached in-game betting, and you gave a very concise answer. You don't involve yourself in it. We have a little more time today for you to explain.
Well, I understand the appeal. You know, we all like to bet the games pre-game, halftime. It'd be great if we could find a way to bet the game after it's a final, but I'm still searching for that niche market. But I can tell you that me personally, I will not bet in-game simply because, respectfully, I do not trust it. I have too many apps, too many betting apps, too many ways to bet to where there's always a delay. I can watch a game on 3 different screens, and there's 3 different time elements. There's a lot of times a 7-second delay because of adverse language. I don't hope we have that here. We may not need it. But the delay of a live broadcast, number one. Number two, the sports books that I bet at, there's a built-in delay. They're thinking about, are they going to accept my play or not? And there's been too many. I'm a math guy, numbers guy, odds guy. To me, there's been too many coincidences to where I know it's a bit of an anomaly for this to actually move against me. But then coming out of the commercial break, Lowry hits a 3-pointer. It's like, that makes sense. So I think too many delays between the bookmakers and the networks. And being a value guy, you have to pay such an ultimate premium. And again, betting numbers, betting value, not betting teams. It's against my religion, actually.
And those of us who do bet in game can tell you, I mean, just the process of getting a bet in today's day and age can be unbelievably maddening. And, you know, even if you have 8, 9 apps, you really don't have time to shop even half of them. It's kind of like you have to find the 2 or 3 you trust. And it's like, am I getting the best number? Am I even able to get this in time? Mike, you can speak to this too. But I think you bring up some really good points. I think, in today's day and age, now that apps are so prevalent and the opportunity is there, it's just become part of our general betting psyche, and I think it's a good point to make that maybe we should question that at least a little bit, even if it's something we're already doing every day. During the commercial break, Brian Ortega, the executive producer director here, thought maybe it was an age thing, which I think there was a bit of a slight to my age at age 59 going on 85. But no, believe you me, my friend, if there was not the delay and not such a high price to pay per the premium, I would be very well versed whether I'm 85 or 21. So to me, it has nothing to do with age.
You know, it's the latency issue is huge, in addition to the 30-cent lines and up. Derek and I have done this through the years. We will have people at a sporting event, and we will take and put that feed on each feed we can get it, whether it's a streaming feed, it's a network. The difference between Cox and DirecTV, you're looking at sometimes 45 seconds or more between what you're seeing and what is actually happening at the stadium. I've been at certain live events where I'm actually ahead of the book with the number. I'm a pitch ahead, which is certainly different than being 2 pitches behind. Or in basketball, 2 possessions. That's how quick an NBA or a college basketball. So I certainly understand the trepidation. I want to change topics. Professional bettor for 35 years. So obviously you have had tremendous money management skills to be able to endure the variances that come through sports, right? I want to ask this to start out. Let's say you start with X as your bankroll. Let's say you want to become a professional bettor and you're going to start out with a $100,000 bankroll. And you bet X as your base bet, and you bet X, X, X. And now you've done well, and you've increased your bankroll that you have available to wager after paying all your expenses to, let's say, $300,000. Does X become a different number? Does it now become larger because your bankroll is bigger?
Yes and no. Okay. It's all based on percentages, and it's a great, great question. I know how smart people are based on the level of questions I get, and you guys are sharp, okay, with a capital S.
We try to be.
But I have to tell you, in 35-plus years of doing this at the highest level, Mike, that patience, discipline, the ability to shop and recognize value, but money management skills, the most important. Now, the rule of thought is the percentage doesn't change, but the number will. That's why I say yes and no. The rule of thumb is never risk more than 2 to 5% of your bankroll on any one bet. My very good friend and mentor, the late, great Alan Dinkinson, Dink, he told me many, many moons ago that sports betting is dangerous and random. Random things happen that you and I don't care how sharp we might think we are. Strange things happen, unforeseen things happen. The only thing you can control is having an informational advantage and getting a good number. The rest will take care of itself. And again, if you can beat the closing number long term, you're going to make a lot of money.
It's well said. You said earlier you don't bet in game, but second halves, it's kind of a different animal. You've got the 15-minute period. You actually can see how a market will be opened, and then numbers start to move. Are you involved in second halves in any way?
I love, love, love second half betting, and here's the reason why.
So yes, all right.
From Sunday to Sunday, the odds makers have 7 days to get that number sharp and beat up by the wise guys. But on halftime, they have 7 to 8 to 9 minutes to get it sharp. You have to act and act fast, but there is no live action going on behind the scenes per the delay. So I absolutely love halftime betting. Absolutely love it.
It's something we talk about all the time. We try to focus on the halftime simply because for bettors, right, they actually have time to break it down. You can see in a flash where the money is coming, and you're right, you only get the 10 minutes or so. You can help us out with one. Washington State, Washington at the half, Mike. 14 apiece. So I went against your religion. I did take an in-game under 58.5. I'm slightly behind. We're showing 31.5 or 32 of a second half total, which brings it out to either 59.5 or 60. Washington laying 8 here. First off, you surprised that Washington's had so much trouble here in the Apple Cup as a big favorite here at home, 15 points and tied at the break?
This time of year when it comes to college football, Ben, nothing would surprise me. But one thing I do want to share with your viewers and your listeners, there is a trend that's been documented for years when you're betting the second half. You have the same information that the odds makers have. We all know who's going to get the ball in the second half, so you get an extra possession. The odds makers will shade it that way. But in the NFL, if you have a double-digit favorite at halftime that has the number already covered, the play for the second half is under. And the reason is, for all intent and purpose, they have enough points, number one. Number two, this isn't college. They're not trying to run up the score to impress the pollsters. So they're just trying to get out of the game without any injuries. They're going to, again, student body right, student body left, 3 plays, cloud of dust, 3 plays to the left, a cloud of dust. And conversely, the team that's down by double digits already at halftime, they've already proven they're inept on offense. So what happens is when they're facing a 4th and 8 at the winning team's 10, instead of kicking a field goal for a sure 3 points, they're going to go for the low percentage play and probably not get it. And that's when the favorite, up 21-3, takes over and runs more clock. So the play, again, double-digit favorite at halftime, has the number covered. Second half, play the under.
That's really interesting. We will. I know Mike's filing that away. We will be filing that away. We also have the Live Bet Sunday show where we talk NFL in-game, so we'll apply it there as well. He is Scott Pritchard. Great to have you on here. Leader right now of the Circa Friday Football Invitational. You have the great TikTok as well, right? Scott wins?
Yeah, actually it's Scott Pritchard wins.
Scott Pritchard wins.
Love the show, Ben and Mike. Keep up the great work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. We appreciate you stopping by. We'll update you everything next. One more hour for us to go through on Live Bet Saturday.